I bought the cheapest R32 I could find. This 2008 R32 should cost $10,000 to $12,000 in good condition, but this one is clearly not. When we picked this car up in Florida, we knew it had transmission problems, power steering problems, and a variety of other things, but we never fully diagnosed them. Now we're gonna try to fix this car and see if it was worth the $3,000 we paid for it. Now we already bought this transmission to replace in this car, but before we drop the whole engine and transmission out of the car, we're gonna diagnose our power steering issue. If you watch our previous video, this car is almost impossible to steer. So we need to make sure we fix the steering before we put the engine back in the car. Now this is a borescope you can use for inspecting things in the car. Usually you're used for internal engine components, but in this case we're looking at the steering rack. So what you can see is there is a zip tie holding that connector on. And what that means is wires in there can be broken and damaged, preventing the power steering from working. When I take the engine and trans out, we're gonna have access to all those components. So we're gonna do that now. One of the things that people asked on this first video was if we checked the trans fluid, and we did not check the trans fluid. There's speculation that it didn't have trans fluid in it. You can see it clearly has trans fluid in it. Let's see, are there any spiders inside the subframe? So now our drivetrain is out of our car. We could just slap this new transmission on, but it makes more sense to look over this engine while it's out. The previous owner DIY'd timing chains which are behind the transmission. So while we're in there, we're gonna look to make sure everything is right. One thing that for sure is not right is this. So I'm currently kind of concerned because this top bolt is coming out like this. I don't know if they cross-threaded it, but oh boy, this is concerning. Oh man. Oh yeah. There you go, there it is. So this trans bolt goes in the top of the transmission and it came out real rough. It also had at the end some kind of rust, which was a concern for me. So we're gonna take our borescope and we're gonna look inside that hole. Oh no. So what you can see there is into the engine. And what that means is that the bolt that was put in there is too long and it punched through the coolant jacket into the engine. So water or coolant from the engine will now flow out through this hole. By the way, that trans bolt problem is the reason why Charles and I always tell people, use the cardboard to map out your bolts. That way you don't punch a hole in your engine. Also, this rear main seal is leaking. My life.
Hey Paul, I heard you're having some tranny problems here.
Yeah, I also have engine problems too. As we know, if you put the wrong bolt hole in certain parts of your engine, you can punch into your engine, which is what we got here.
They didn't use the cardboard trick.
They didn't use the cardboard trick.
So that's a bad B hole. What are you gonna do about it? B is for bolt, in case you friends at home were wondering what B was for. B is for bolt. It's a bad bolt hole.
Bad B hole.
Looks like you got some real sadness in there, buddy.
Someone wrecked my B hole.
Your B hole is destroyed. Do you need me to help run a tool in there to fix your B hole?
So the right thing to do on this car is to put an engine in it, but I'm not doing the right thing because I'm not buying a goddamn engine. Listen, you wouldn't put an engine in this.
Hey, wait! We're doing proper Mark V things, so why would we bother fixing it right? This is Mark V.
Listen, we're Mark V brothers now.
Yeah.
He's got a Mark V, I got a Mark V. We're doing Mark V things. We slam it on the ground, we don't even fix it.
Yeah.
The car looks like we're putting wheels on them. That's what we're doing.
So when Paul was out helping me work on my Mark V, I loaned him a couple of timing tools so that while he had this all apart, he could check timing. This is a cam lock that slides in the back sides of the cams right here when they're at TDC, and that guy slides in just fine. However, when we look at the crankshaft timing down here, it appears to be about a tooth off. So we're gonna take the timing chains off, we're gonna time the engine properly, we're gonna fix Paul's B-hole, we're gonna install it all with a new tranny. Odds are, when whoever did the chains the first time, they probably just got it off about a tooth. Oh God, that didn't seem tight at all.
That wasn't very tight at all.
I'm gonna have me a real live R32.
I'm gonna be a R32 boy now.
Yep, and he's gonna be doing R32
He's
timing
been
videos.
doing R32 stuff, making me look stupid all this time.
Well, that's not the thing that makes you look stupid. Oh God.
Oh geez.
Juiced me.
Watch a VR6 master in his natural habitat. He loves
Fumbling with the gear trying to get it on.
He loves touching them chains.
So now Paul's gonna run that bolt in. We're gonna get a zip tie and we're gonna zip tie these two guides together to simulate our tensioner. We're gonna rotate it around 2 times. Then we're gonna recheck our timing marks and make sure everybody's happy.
60 Newton meters, torquing it like they didn't when they did this. A little sus.
No. Pull off of it. It's whatever it is, it's tighter than it was when it came apart.
That's true. All right, so here's our lower timing cover. We put a new rear main in so we didn't have a leak like our last time when we just took it off. So we're putting our RTV on the lower timing cover.
Ooh, look at that.
We're gonna spread it, or oh, a little thin there. Oh, that was a mistake.
You'll be all right.
You think so?
Yeah, you don't need a lot.
Okay, he said I don't need a lot.
If it leaks, it's not my problem. I mean, to be fair, if it leaks, he's probably not going to fix it anyway, so it doesn't.
It's not my problem either.
Yeah. I'm going to let you do the honors.
Okay, and he's going to let me f it up. That's what he's
your
like,
car,
if
your
someone's
problem.
going to f this up, it's going to be you.
It's not going to be me.
Yeah.
The better way to do this is to pull the oil pan off. It makes installing this lower cover 100 times easier. You did a pretty great job on that, though.
Thanks. I'm proud of me, too.
You should.
This seal, just so you know, you're probably never going to think to do this if you are doing a VR. When you take this upper timing cover off, replace the seal because it's going to be all swollen and gross. Also, this is a seal that goes back here where the coolant flange goes. There's another coolant flange seal. There's 2 of them. Coolant flange sealception. We're replacing that one. It wasn't replaced previously. It was swollen like
that time I went to the gym.
Replace that too.
Paul's just out here saying words. He's saying all the words.
He's like, hey, we're filming a video.
Let me give you an abbreviated version of what Paul just said. On the back side of this cover, there's 2 seals, a green one for oil and a black one for coolant. Make sure you replace those and have them on the cover if you're doing this. I think Paul might have mentioned it, but I've done like numerous VR timing and rebuild videos.
17 videos.
If you need a step-by-step, I got you. I got you, fam.
He's basically saying, don't listen to Paul.
No. All those things he said were correct.
There were just too many words.
You just took the detour way to get there.
Paul's like, this is an O-ring. It's green. It's made out of rubber. It goes in.
It was designed in 1947 by Arnold J. O-ring. We got a 9-minute dissertation about it. We don't know what it's there for or what it does, but you know the complete history of the O-ring.
Look at how shaky that is.
No, this
You made me laugh the whole time.
Look, it may look really terrible,
Hey!
but it's actually fine. You really don't want a ton of RTV on either one of these 2 covers.
Don't goop them up.
Yeah.
You're going to get it all in your timing components and stuff like that. It's really not.
Remember, when you tighten this down, it's going to squish out. And if you squish it out too much, it'll be all dangly on the outside. And not only will it look ugly,
You'll be ugly.
Yeah, your face will turn ugly. And you'll be like, oh no, I'm ugly. This is going to be a problem for you.
There's a bullet in the way. There's a bullet in the way. Yeah. We're timed up now. I mean,
we're timing and rhyming
here,
homie.
I'm rhyming and stealing. Charles is replacing the crack pipe on the car. It's the pipe that goes in the front of the engine that carries coolant to make sure it doesn't leak. You can find this at shopdap.com. We'll link to all the parts we're using in this build in the description below. You also can go to DAP Repair. They fix your cars. If you don't want to do this yourself, maybe you don't want to punch a hole in your block, they can do it for you. They'll not punch the hole in the block for you, just fix it for you.
They'll punch a hole in the block, special for you. Don't forget to do the Paul install option on any part you buy from shopdap.com. Paul comes to your place, installs it for you. Bam. It's on. If you find it on the website, he'll do it. He did it for me, he'll do it for you.
So what happens is you put your items in here, and then
this is what I read on Paul's website, his personal blog. He gives you Paul'sCrackpipe.com. He won't come to your house and do this with you though, even if you find it on the blog.
This is a valve cover. This is a PCV valve. It's inside of our valve cover. I got a new one of these. Now the reason I got one of these is because when they got this car, it was doing this, hunting idle like this.
I feel like we're on one of those like drug people of Philadelphia.
Crack pipe earlier.
Yeah. Okay. I got a new PCV because I thought this could be the cause of it. It was causing like vacuum issues, and this was the cause of it. That may be true. Two other things. One, the engine was out of time. That could have been causing our issue. I got a real New Jersey. I got a real Jersey in that one. What caused it? Hey, this f***ing guy, he f***ing timed the engine wrong. Now it's f***ing running bad, causing some issues. Sorry, got a little crazy there.
Got to get it out of your system every now and again. Paul had a little bit of a flare up there.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Okay, we were talking about running bad. Okay, sorry, got a little crazy there.
Reboot.
The timing could have been one of the causes of the problem. Also, I found tape on the back of this. There was paint all over it, but it also had black tape covering this vent hole here. Well, guess what? That vent hole goes here to this. This is a diaphragm for the PCV. So if you tape that shut and you don't allow air to allow into that, it will no longer allow the diaphragm to move up and down like it's supposed to. So that also could have been why it was doing that.
So basically what he was saying is there's a lot of problems with this Mark V, and we're fixing them one thing at a time.
Don't just stick stuff in holes that you don't know what they're there for. Maybe ask somebody, hey, you mind if I stick something in that hole?
Yeah, should I plug this hole or should I leave this hole open? That's how you end up with babies at 16. Wow.
You mother.
The other one that you took out too. This kid.
Did you end up with babies at 16?
No.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Wait, hold on. Why was this thing so shiny? Turn it back over.
I shined it up.
If he turns it back over, he's gonna drop his screws again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna drop these damn screws again. So what I did was I stripped the paint off because it looked real yucky and I was kind of embarrassed. So I didn't want that yuckiness, so I stripped it with paint thinner. I also got some chemical burns on my hand from that because it got underneath my gloves and stuck under there, so I had some chemical burns on the side of my hands last night. That was real exciting.
He was scared that I was gonna come here and make fun of him for how trash his valve cover was. And he's right, I would have
He's got a purple fancy ass valve cover, right? What?
That's right.
Who am I gonna have this decrepit, paint chipping? It still doesn't look very good, by the way.
It's like 1.5% better. But he's on the peasant mode R32 thing. But we'll get him there. Don't worry. We're gonna get him.
No, he's not gonna get me there.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
He's not gonna get me there. I'm not even going there.
I don't even care about this right now. I don't even know why I'm here, really. I'm just standing here watching it work. I wanted to confirm that our PCV was in fact bad. This diaphragm should not have a hole in it. Which may be why the tape was there, because they probably are like,
oh, it's a vacuum leak, yep.
It's a vacuum leak,
Ooh.
So they taped it over.
Yeah, so good thing old Pablo Escobar ordered one of these.
Yeah.
That's me, I'm Pablo Escobar. I'm the king of...
the ding-a-ling.
Did you buy new coils and spark plugs?
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
all
do
those
any of
things
that
are
yet.
definitely happening sometime.
I haven't done anything yet. The only thing I got for this engine was the stuff we needed to fix it right now. I gotta make sure this thing will actually run before it blows the engine up.
This is Mark V life.
Now that we got our valve cover on, we're gonna slap this trans that I picked up for 250 bucks in. This trans was shipped to us by Hawk, Hawk's Hauling. He's in Jacksonville area. He did a really beautiful job packing this.
Can you hire this guy to ship stuff for you? Because that is legit.
It's all zippy to all two here. These are the axles are really nice and secure. So yeah,
ground cable.
Great work. Just we almost just put the transmission on before we put the flywheel on, which would have led to basically
zing.
Nothing would have happened. We would have started the car. It would start.
How would it start? No, you just have the starter zinging.
It would have zinged away.
At 1,000 miles an hour.
It would have tried to start, but it wouldn't actually start.
We've got a crank no start situation. Ooh, did you hear that click? We found that the transmission that Paul got did not have a mechatronics unit, which lives behind this cover right here. You can actually see this barrel connector. That's what gave it away. I was looking at it, I'm like, hey, that thing's missing a connector.
I bought this transmission expecting it to have a mech unit in it.
Since it doesn't, we can buy a new mech unit for around $1,500, get a different used transmission, or slap the old mech unit in and see if it works. We know the trans that came out of this car is bad, but we're going to look over it to see if we think we can reuse the old mech unit out of the bad transmission.
Hey, Charles, what are you looking at? What is that?
It's a mech unit. Looks bad. What is this?
So the metal that he's getting on these solenoids, it probably is stuck there because they're like, solenoids are just electromagnets basically. Possible it's from the internals in the transmission, like something gear mechanical worn. It also is possible that that has sent through this oiling system and clogged up solenoids and stuff like that. So
yeah, think about it this way. If this is here, it came from somewhere very much not right here. So it's probably all through this entire mechatronics unit with tiny little passages.
We could clean this thing out.
I mean, I worry that doing that creates a no chance of reassembly proper situation. Okay, so in our quest to handle the fact that that other transmission does not have a mech unit, we pulled the clutch pack out of this one to inspect it. It looks okay. Then I pulled the mech unit out of this old transmission, the one that came with the car. The mech unit is like the brains of the transmission, as well as what would be a valve body in like a standard automatic, classic automatic transmission. Paul is over there. We disassembled the mech unit. You can see this whole bunch of balls and springs and screws and solenoids. Paul's cleaning that out. Inside of this transmission, though, we found ultra sadness. All of the magnets inside this transmission just have these really cool stalactites hanging onto them.
If we take a look here inside of our transmission, that's a magnet that's intended to pick up metal, but it's not supposed to look like that. It shouldn't look like it just snowed outside. And if you look, all of our magnets look like that. So, and if you look right there, you can see some wear on the back of that gear. I believe that's from some components wearing, moving around. Now, the damage that we found in there gives me hope that the mech unit actually might be okay. Because of that, we're going to attempt to make our mech unit usable. I'm not going to buy a new one unless I have to because this build is on a budget. Neither Charles or I have any experience opening up then attempting to reuse a mechatronics unit, so this was pretty scary. Inside the unit, we found tons of DSG oil mixed with metal bits that were sent through the whole transmission. Additionally, every solenoid inside had a small screen, which had a varying amounts of metal bits inside of them. Fingers crossed, we didn't screw anything up, but now we're on to fix our B-hole. Now you might be thinking, how are we gonna deal with the hole in the engine that got put into the cooling system? And this is how we're gonna do that. This is a product that's actually intended for American cars that have head bolts that seal into water jackets, and putting this on our threads should be able to create a seal once our bolt is tightened and this dries. In theory, I've snugged this bolt up. We fixed our engine up right nice.
Got my screw dirty. I'm wearing the wrong shoes, damn it.
You are wearing the wrong shoes. Yeah. What kind of shoes are you wearing?
Well, these are the kind of shoes I wear. They're just new, they're too new.
They're too New Balance. That's what it is. They're too New Balance.
Now, if he says it louder, it might be funny that time. Just keep saying it loud enough.
They're too New Balance.
This gasket.
You don't even have a gasket. It's a ghost gasket.
It's got a gasket. I put it on. Look.
You heard of ghost guns? Ghost gasket.
What the happened here?
Oh no, what happened there? That's why I was wondering why I was. Yeah, the sleeve is gone from the manifold, so now I got to order one of those too.
Now you need a ghost gun.
You probably shot it with a ghost gun. Is what happened.
3D printed a ghost gun and shot the harness up. So we ran into a plethora of problems, which some were self-induced.
Our most significant problem was our transmission that I thought I was buying used to install.
Well, to be fair, you did buy a used transmission.
I did purchase it used, that's true. But it didn't include the mechatronics unit, which I was not aware of. And because we were waiting to unpack it on camera, I didn't know that.
So what he's saying is it's your fault that we're here till 1 a.m. and not done.
It is your fault that we're here till 1 a.m.
Look at what we bought.
Yes. Yes,
If you're watching this video, it's your fault. You bastards.
If you're watching this, I hate you. Thank you very much for that.
Why don't you go watch another video of someone that doesn't hate you?
So Charles is out of here. I'm going to finish this up without him because he has to go home to finish his Mark V.
I got my own broke Mark V. I gotta do it. Just like Paul abandoned us on our Mark V, I'm abandoning him.
Yeah, it's only fair. Charles is gone, so f*** him. We're going to be going forward on our own, put our engine and trans in. This is the gasket that was previously ghosted. We got a new one, and we're going to install it so we can put our engine and trans in. Power steering didn't work on this. We didn't find anything obviously wrong. This came from Devin, who works here. He had a junk car in his yard, same rack. I'm just sending it with this thing.
Do you think this is gonna work?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, if you all you do is replace everything, probably will work. When we bought this car, we knew it had a bad transmission. It also had a hunting idle problem and again, power steering that didn't work. Our hope is that after all the work we've done thus far, we'll be able to have fixed our idle issue and it will drive fine and not leave us stuck on the side of the road with a transmission problem. After many hours of working to get this car back together, we're ready to start it. Yeah, so we have an exhaust leak from that very poorly welded downpipe. The angles are bad, so like they don't seal real well. I'm probably gonna have to replace it with a different downpipe. Let's go drive it. It went right in the reverse. It still has no power steering at all. So clearly the rack is not the issue. The fuse is not the issue. We'll have to diagnose it.
Oh my God.
Shifts. It does. It shifts every time. It downshifts. Oh, PRNDS is flashing. Our PRNDS is flashing, which is not good. Sorry, you people behind me. I know I'm only going 20. Sorry, I know I'm only going 20 and a 45. I was hopeful when we did what we did with the mech unit that it would fix this issue by cleaning it out. Clearly it isn't. The PRNDS is still flashing. The trans was bad, so we for sure need to replace the mechanical part of the transmission, which we did. We did fix, obviously the timing chains are now back in time. We fixed our hole in our block. We put our steering rack in, it hasn't been resolved. We still have to diagnose that. We will be doing a future video of fixing all of the things left on this car, minus obviously the repairs we've already done. Hopefully that will finalize everything to prep us for mods.